Hello and welcome everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope that today we do have sound. I've tested it thoroughly, so we should have a semblance of some sound going on. Uh, I'm trying to open my own YouTube here to see what's it showing, but I should be live. Technically, I should be live. I have proper internet now and everything, so we should be good to go. Hot to go, like the new Chaperone song. Who's to say? And here we are. Okay, we got something. We got something. I got you, babe. Hey, I am live. I can see myself being live. This is great. Welcome, everyone. Some of you might remember that I used to do these sort of podcasts, interviews, chats, evening chats, Friday around this time. So here I am. I have been gone for a little while, I know. Intermittently, I came here. I don't even know what was the last thing that I posted about, really. I did this live stream the other day about something or another, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I'm looking at the videos to try to see what was the last thing that I talked about. It was about the Sure Gold, which indeed is a good guitar. You might have seen the live streams about from the Leighton Institute. So once again, while we're trying to get people in here and have everyone sort of gather around the fireplace, I found that these live streams usually it's like the second hour that everyone has been able to catch up and see that it is live and come. Especially because I don't announce these often, so it ends up being a fact of if you're on YouTube around this time today, you'll be able to see it. If it's tomorrow, you might catch up, but reality, I don't have that much of a sphere of influence for you to be able to, or for you to probably want to do that. If you can hear some creaking, it is not my back; it is the chair that I sit on, and probably that's an investment for the future, for getting a proper chair. But this one, as I move, it was paid by the British government for my job, so it's fine. Just a crappy chair. What I've been up to. So I have found out that people don't really want to hear me sing. They want to hear me not sing and rather have me do like open mics and karaoke nights. Maybe that's an unfair interpretation of the facts, but sort of he is where I am with the music, professionally speaking, and that's why I say you only really need free gigs to chords, free chords to gig. You can do just like the belter, the and people will be happy because most of the public wants simple songs that they can sing along to. So karaoke or backing tracks or me singing with someone along really is a good time for everyone involved. Hopefully for them. I do have a bit of fun as well. I'm being fastidious here, and the open mics have opened quite a lot of doors. Open mics open a lot of doors and windows for me to jump out of. Um, for new people to meet people to see where things are at, and the Leighton Institute has been really kind to let us do it there in a sense, and for us to follow our ambitions to have bigger and bigger shows every month. So at the moment, I land, I think it should be around 8 acts, but it's sometimes hard to start like at 7:30, and there's always a bit of nervousness about starting. Who's going to be the first person? So sometimes it's not possible to start right at that time. But if it was 7:30 to 10:30, so around 3 hours, 10 would be the max, because we try to get the bands and the solo acts and everyone a bit more time instead of just being 3 songs or 2 songs. We try to say, okay, you have 10 minutes if you're just using backing tracks to sing, you have 15 minutes if you're playing an instrument, and you have 25 minutes all in all with loading and unloading if you're a band, which requires then setting up and being on stage. It's not just me, so I do part of the hosting and helping with the bands to set up and the order of events. Peter, that has been here in this channel as well, commenting and stuff, is doing the sound and as well setting stuff on the stage and going backwards and forwards. And Anthony is doing the photography and videography, which has really elevated the prestige and the presence online of the whole thing. And if anything, that has what sort of brought forward the evidence of what is happening in those evenings, which is quite cool. I'm also doing now every couple of weeks an open mic at Glass House in Cleveland, which is a cocktail bar, which is again a different sort of environment. It's not a proper stage with lights and everything, but it is quite good. And there is a dedicated area for people to perform, and the staff is very nice. The management is really understanding and promotes it and supports it, and that's already like half the struggle in a lot of other places, to try to understand what musicians get out of doing open mics, what audiences get out of doing open mics, and all that. Me, myself, and I have sort of plateaued, musically speaking. I wrote 6 songs and then I never recorded because I think they're not that good. Or I don't know how to make them any better. Playing wise, I don't have the time to go in a room and just jam and get better. I failed to set myself goals, and I think that's something that I want to work on, and that's why I sort of set this up today, in terms of, okay, maybe if I can have some accountability towards a few of my fellow peers that also play guitar, I'll be able to improve that. The last guitar that I acquired, no, it's not, it is, it's not, it's this one. So this is a kit guitar. The neck and body was £60 or whatever it was, or 50 something. Moranti body, maple neck, rosewood fretboard. It needs a bit of work now on the frets, and the nut is so good that I had to put a piece of paper to raise the low E and A, but it has Northwest locking tuners that are very good, topped. It has a double action truss rod. I put the Seymour Duncans that I had on the jet guitar, which makes me think probably I should just get the jet guitar and put these pickups in it and call it a day. Wilkinson Sinks 6 saddle bridge, and one of those 4 connection plug input jack, output jack. So it's really in there, and it sounds, I'll just show you while we're waiting on the neck pickup. It sounds a bit like this. So sounds a bit low, quiet. I don't know if that's the perception that you're having on your side as well, but it was a bit quiet on neck and middle. It's a bit quiet, isn't it? Let me see if the level here. In the middle. No. So it is a strat. It is a strat. I saw that Fender released the new Fender Player 2, which is a fun looking guitar, but £700 for a guitar. The other thing that I have been doing recently is riding a bike. At some point I had 3 bikes, but now I've reduced it back to 2 bikes. So I had no bikes, and then I got 1 bike, and then I had 2 bikes, and then I had 3 bikes, and then I'm back to 2 bikes. I have a road bike and a mountain bike. I'm missing on a gravel bike, but I think in time I'll probably just sell the road bike and the mountain bike and just have a gravel bike. Why I didn't do that straight away, because I didn't know. It's a bit like guitars, you need to try them and go through the different pickups and different shapes and different weights and different ergonomics to then figure out, oh, this is what I actually really like. But there is the journey journey before destination, like the radiance of Stormlight, radiance of Roshar, make their pact. I also have invested a bit more time into this endeavor of GigHub that now Anthony is helping and such. Will it focus the camera? Do you think? I know, because it's manual focus. So GigHub. GigHub. The idea is, it's not an original idea. There's a lot of people already doing this. It's basically a booking agency that creates content and promotion, and it's just a way to, I was gonna say canalize. That's not the word. Canalizar. To push the people that are at the open mics, that are at the level of gigging, into gigs. And it's a continuation of what In Good Company was doing. I wanted as well to have the opportunity to showcase and to promote everything else that's happening here in Blackpool in terms of open mics. All the other ones that are like Lee is with Two for the Road, is doing at the Alley. Catlow is doing at Dirty Blondes. Wow, big legend. Hey Dave, how's it going, man? Long time. Is doing at the Brew Room and all that. And the gig map, which would be the idea of, it's like a map for people to find live music or live entertainment, regardless if it is gigs or open mics or jams or whatever. But I'm running into a bandwidth issue. So, Dave, my dear friend, I have often thought of you, but I haven't said anything. So I apologize for my lack of communication. It feels like probably that I was more communicative when you had something to give to me in terms of knowledge for the guitar and stuff. And then as soon as that my interest, my focus dried up on this, like, but it's not the case. It's not the case. It's just I've been all over the place. Do you think I'm going for the Captain America look in on the Marvel movies, that when he comes out with the beard? I've explained this before, but the beard is a technique to hide the double chin and to make my head look bigger probably as well. And also have now slightly longer hair. I've tried to let it grow and embrace my natural curls. This conversation is taking a turn on a direction that is not exactly where I thought it's going to be. In terms of gear and things that have been purchased, quite a few things. So, I was talking about bikes, right? And bikes are important because it's the hobby. It's not it has no professional value. I'm trying to hit everything with this. But there's other things that are required. So I've made a very, very interesting purchase under I was trying to like make a joke of like, it's not really interesting, but it is what it is. Let's see if I focus a bit more on me. Focus on me. If I lower my seat. Okay. It's a bit more framed. I've bought XLR cables, black 6-meter XLR cables. It's very boring stuff. But from these gigs I have, and because I'm a jealous person, whatever other people do, I want to do myself as well. That's why I can't really watch Philip McKnight anymore, because every time that he talks about the guitar, I want to buy it. And the only really guitar channel that I still watch is Steve Cassidy, because he's a funny dude. And I tend not to want to buy exactly what he has. Although I was watching the Chapman today, he was like, maybe I should look into that. While this is extremely stupid, because I've seen at the open mics, for example, young people take gear that is very inexpensive and make it sound absolutely amazing. And the trick is not to have better gear, is to play better. So one thing that I've bought, just sharing with the group here, I've started seeing Anthony take really good pictures. I thought, oh, maybe, because I have this camera that I'm using now to do this, which is a Canon 700D. It's a entry level DSLR. It has a swivel screen and everything, and now it connects to the computer, which I didn't know. Peter was the one to have to tell me. It's like, no, you can use it as a webcam. You could use it for like a couple of years, which is what I was trying to do for the longest time, and I was never able to. But now I am. So I even like had sold this camera to Wex, but they're like, no, it has a problem with the screen. It has a mistake. It's like, okay, all right, fine. I'll just use it for something else. But I got this camera. So this is a mirrorless camera. Basically, it doesn't have a mirror that snaps or something like that. And it has very nice quality. And this lens is not mine yet, but it's going to be hopefully soon. So now I take this to the gigs to take pictures, and you can see. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Because we like this. I thought of using this camera for these streams. But you don't really care that much about quality. This is not about quality. Although now I have that ring light again, Anthony's doing. I have other lights that I could turn on. Let's see if it makes any difference. Do you want to see? Ice Dragon, I've never seen you before, but welcome to the stream. We're talking about music, guitars, life, and everything in between. Hey, I'm still here. Let's see if I turn these lights. No? Okay. So if I turn this light and I put it here, does it make a difference? Maybe a little bit. But I got the lights and everything because I thought I was going to be making loads of videos. And then I didn't. And then I didn't. Like, because I'm repeating myself a lot of the times. I find that I don't have anything to say, but because I wasn't like leaving or I have any sort of input really that was relevant. Going on with purchases that are like boring stuff, but sort of interesting. I got this, which is a Zoom R20, which is a multi-track recorder, because we were doing a podcast and I thought this would be a good idea for the podcast. Interestingly, Zoom does do a specific device for podcasts called the PodTrack 8, which is a 250, and I bought this for 250, but this came with a Shure SM58 because it was this one I was used, and a fat head, which is what I'm using now with this dynamic mic, and a couple of cables and a few other things, and I thought, oh no, and a native sound interface, which I don't like as much as the M Audio one that I have, so I might just put this for sale on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something like that. But this is cool. This the Zoom R20. You have 8 inputs and it's 16 tracks, so then you can switch to the next 8 inputs and you can record. So it's like a tape, 8 tracks. Podcast. So podcast. So what happened was under Astrodog, which is the name of the band that me and Peter are part of, we're doing the open mics, right? And we sort of pushed by Anthony once again, started to think that it would be a good idea to get to know the bands and the artists that are participating in these open mics a bit better. Some of them are quite young, some of them are more adults, some are not yet quite adults. But it will be good to do the interview, the video podcast thing. So we've recorded the first episode with the Manjules, which is a local band, indie band of young people that are starting college, whatever age that is, 16, 17. And it's going to come out eventually. The plan was to be a 20 to 30 minute podcast, but because I cannot shut my mouth, I think it went just around the hour mark or thereabouts. But it's not all my fault, but partially probably it was my fault. So that's why we recorded it on the mixer itself. But if we could have something that could be monitored next to where we are, be good. But stay tuned. Dave, I'll send you a link later, or anyone else, leave a comment and I'll send the link for the podcast. If it's not good, I'm just hitting everything. And now we need to decide the next invitee. It has a musical performance, and it has questions, and it has answers, and it has smiles. So it's a podcast all around. So yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, and not a lot of guitar building. The offset I took out. I painted it black because I thought I was gonna paint it black instead of pink, but then I messed up because I never take time, and now I've tried to start routing it to put a pick guard, and it's not going as I want. So it's just existing in the garage, and that's it. So I just wanted to come around and have a chat. I said, "Oh, it's on the second hour that it tends to pick up," and it's. I'm being a bit sad for the fact that I don't have my mates here usually. Dave is here and Ice Dragon is here as well. I'm not on StreamYard, otherwise I would invite people to join me. But I'm on just OBS today. Shall we check? Shall we check the news? What's been happening in the world of gear? I started giving lessons. Not giving lessons. I have a friend that wanted to get into bass, so it's sort of an excuse. It's like riding a bike when you go with someone else. I've used that. It has been a good opportunity to get to know people a bit better because you're riding and you're talking and everything. So me and Ian started our jobs at the DWP at the same time, and we've become good friends since then. And sometimes there's just no time to get together and hang out and talk. So it's like, oh, I want to play bass. Like, sure, I'll help you. I have a bass, as you can tell there. My knowledge is limited, but we'll work through it. A few things that I thought would be a good idea that I've learned from my own learning experiences, like actually listen to the songs, prepare as you're going to be playing with other people, come to an open mic, see what people are doing, that sort of thing. It's not very technical in the sense that I'm able to tell them like, oh, if you play, now you're playing the major, and then I'm going to play the minor, and then you're going to play the melodic, or these are the most famous bass lines. That's something for him to sort of go and find out. But I have, in this past 6 months, sort of almost played bass in 2 different bands, and then never ended up happening because I really want to play with people, but I just don't have time to commit 4 hours a week or 4 hours every 2 weeks or 4 hours a month on a time that I might just be not only spending money on practice times and rehearsals, but losing money. And it's never just those 4 hours, it's the time as well of preparing for the rehearsal and everything. So it hasn't happened. But bass is a great instrument. I really like it. But if you were to ask me, and no one did, but let's assume that you are going to ask me, what would I like to be my role in a band at the moment, would be to sing and play rhythm guitar. And when I say rhythm guitar, is strummy, simple things. That's the rhythm guitars that I have in mind. So yeah. So I don't need 10 guitars or whatever it is that I have at the moment. I basically just need the acoustic, one of those silent guitars, because I have 3 electric guitars, a baritone and a bass, acoustic steel string, and Allen steel string. So here, it's actually pretty reasonable on the wall. And then I have this Strat that I showed you, that I've built. It was living in the garage because it broke a string. And then I have another semi-hollow in the garage, and then I have the Eastman, and I have the Share Gold. So that's more 4. And I have an acoustic steel string 5. So 12 guitars, and then I have the project guitar that is the offset. It's not, not like just all like 12 or 13 tellies or whatever it is. It's very different guitars for very different purposes, but it's a bit excessive, isn't it? It's a bit excessive. I know, and I have the other Share Gold Masquerader. So 14 instruments. Oh dear. What can I say? What can I say? In my defense, nothing much. I can say nothing much. So yeah, trying to think of what else I wanted to share with you. In a couple of minutes, Mr. McKnight will come on and tell us all about the news. So there's not much point. I'm seeing that I'm like sort of lagging. I don't know if this is the camera having a moment. I don't know if it's the internet having a moment. But just let me know if the volume is okay. I did think of starting a sort of series. Let's see if I can lean back. Can I lean back? Sort of. And just chill. Start a series where I learn, I commit myself to learning a solo or a guitar part. And then having that shared with the community, just to have some accountability. But it seems like if I really wanted to do it, I could just do it myself. And how important is it to play? I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the challenge of getting somewhere and having a progression. And I feel like on the guitar I haven't progressed much. And that reflects on my songwriting because I'm not able to think much outside the box, and now I just see the guitar as like pentatonic shapes, but basic ones, not even licks, just notes on the pentatonic scale. So I definitely feel like I need to work on that, but I also need to work on creating content, really, not here on YouTube because YouTube is not what it used to be unless you're doing shorts, I guess. Not that I've ever was successful on YouTube, so it's neither here nor there. But on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and WhatsApp and such, and creating connections with venues and artists, and getting the damn bookings done that I still have October and November to do. And like just thinking about it leaves me anxious. On top of having a day job and trying to go for a promotion and having a family and doing the garden. Why do I moan so much? I'm talking here like I'm in Ukraine or Gaza, going through the struggles of real people, and here I am having first world problems because I am too busy with the hobby that I like and that I chose to do and no one forced me to do, and that I actually pays some, not, I wouldn't say bills, but it's pays some comforts, and it allows me to invest in these things, like in the camera, in the Zoom R20, in the lights, in the microphone. Like now I have 4 dynamic microphones and a couple of condenser mics, which are useful. It's like, yeah, they're useful. They are used for things, so they are useful. I don't know in terms of instruments if it makes that much of a difference. What you have, because any guitar, like I could have just, if I could only have one guitar, I could still have the baritone and the bass and the acoustic nylon and string, whatever, like one electric guitar, let's call it. I can have one electric guitar. Which one of the ones that I have would I keep? I don't know. Probably. And if I could like upgrade it to whatever, like you can only have one, but you can make it perfect. Probably the Fret King, this one. Because it does everything, and it sounds, I like it. Probably wouldn't upgrade anything really on it. Just the nut that needs sorted. So there's that. I'll show you what I mean by that. Here I go, hitting on it. So it has, first and foremost, has this input here that doesn't accept L cables, which is a bit annoying, but I don't often use it. Let me increase the zoom, or decrease the zoom. Raise. So can you hear? You could probably still hear me, right? So. See, I don't know what I'm gonna play. So it has, again, just going through the specs very quickly. Stack P90 single coil humbucker. This one is a push-pull that makes it split. No, the last one is a push-pull that makes it split. This one adds neck pickup, and this one is just a volume. This is a 5-way switch. And locking stagger tuners. It will be a new bone nut, but it has papers because somehow the two in the middle are too wide. Probably there's a better way to fix this. Is it like super glue and baking powder? And you put it and then you recut the nut. But in the meantime, it is what it is. So I can do anything with it, like neck pickup on the Strat, neck and middle. Right? So just neck. I always play the same riffs as well because I have no imagination and I don't know what I'm doing. That's my excuse. But middle. Neck and middle and bridge. Just bridge split. Very, very bright, but it's but if it was with the humbucker on, and I have a line 6 helix, so if I really wanted to EQ and change the sound, I could. If it sounds bad, it's because my ability is bad. It's not the gear. So I guess I could just use this guitar. But when do I use electric guitar? It's really in a band scenario. Whenever I go play a gig by myself, I never take an electric guitar these days, because that's not what people want to hear. Actually, what people want to hear is backing tracks. So you don't even really need how to play guitar. If you want to make any sort of music gig, the easiest way is just learn to sing, just learn songs, just learn popular songs, which is not, it's easier said than done, but that seems to be the way for me. That seems to be the way that I see make more sense and least amount of work, because I don't know, it just seems to me that way. If you disagree, do you disagree? Do you think that bands still are deserving of existing despite of the work and everything? I don't know. Let's see my messages. Okay. All right. So we've been going for a little bit now, right? This channel has been dead, and I did do a couple of live streams the other day that ended abruptly because I was just testing stuff out. So it is only natural that this would be a bit of a slow burn, let's call it. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope this was enjoyable somehow. It's like, was enjoyable. I just wanted to come here and talk. So it's a bit of a therapy session for myself. I didn't bring water. Didn't bring a glass of water, so I'm getting a bit parched. My throat is a bit dry, and I think my time will be better used practicing guitar. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. If not trying to assemble a bed, which is also something that is ongoing in the house at the moment, just below those doors. Now that the kids are back to sleep, I might be enjoying that at the end of a long day. Do some DIY at 9:30 on a Friday night. It's like any man's dream, isn't it? Or maybe not. I can just ignore it. I'm very good at it. So I might just ignore it until tomorrow. Until tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day. Very tired. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your life. Bye-bye.